Did Emerald Fennell capture the emotional truth of Wuthering Heights, or did she just adapt the memory of being 14 and obsessed with Wuthering Heights? Stay with us and we'll discuss. Hey, welcome to Screen Time, a show where we go beyond whether a movie was good or bad and explore why it worked, why it didn't, and what was actually trying to say. Jared, it's nice for you to have a friend, a real friend. I mean, not a paid one.
Yeah, it's nice.
I'm Josh, and this is my co-host today, Jared.
Here's another Hellcat sent to torture me.
Yeah, and I mean, gotta go watch out for this Hellcat.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Today we are discussing Emerald Fennell's 2026 reimagining of Wuthering Heights.
Wuthering or weathering?
Wuthering.
Okay.
Wuthering.
Okay.
Wuthering with a U.
Yeah, with you. Yeah,
It's hard to say.
it is. I
when
know.
you say
That's
it
what I
fast to
was
make sure.
wondering if you're. Yeah.
It's a bold interpretation that captures the emotional power of the original novel, or is it incredibly beautiful movie that mistakes obsession for love? What do you think?
You're asking me right now off the top.
Yeah.
Repeat that.
Is this a bold interpretation that captures the emotional power of the original novel, or an incredibly beautiful movie that mistakes obsession for love?
Oh, definitely the second one.
Yeah. I think I definitely feel that. I agree with that too.
Yes.
We'll be discussing this movie, and there'll be full spoilers going forward. So just be warned. But before we begin, remember to subscribe to Screen Time on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or YouTube. So let's get into it. This movie came out in 2026, rated R, 2 hours and 16 minutes. The general synopsis is a passionate and tumultuous love story set against the backdrop of the Yorkshire moors, exploring the intense and destructive relationship between Heathcliff and Catherine Hernshaw. So this was directed by Emerald Fennell. Writers is credited for Emily Brunet, who wrote the book, and then Emerald Fennell.
Okay.
Cinematographer Linus Sandgren.
Oh yeah.
This guy, we're looking forward to seeing what he does, especially after seeing this film. Really looking forward to seeing what he does in Dune later this year.
Oh yeah.
Composer Anthony Willis,
Mm-hmm.
who worked with Emerald Fennell in the last couple of films prior to this, I think. At least Saltburn.
Yep.
All right, production costs. What are you thinking?
Real quick, it just when I heard you said Moors, right? For the when I heard it in the film, it made me think of Seinfeld with George arguing with the bubble boy on the answer. They say Moors, and he's like, "Oh no, it's Moops." And they go back and forth, Moors and Moops, for an answer of like a trivia question. I don't know. That's the first thing that popped in my head, and it just made me laugh. But
Oh, everything comes back to Seinfeld.
exactly, yeah, I had
At least
to
on this
mention it.
podcast.
Yes. Budget,
Yeah.
I have no idea, so I put 70 million.
Oh, pretty close. 80.
Okay, all right. Thought I was gonna be way off.
And then as far as Academy Awards, it's non-applicable right now
Yeah.
because this film's too new.
Yeah.
And so we have no data there. All right. So our cast, we got Margot Robbie, Jacob Elordi, Hung Chow, Shazad Latif, and then Allison Oliver.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of the main people.
Yeah, I'll mention one more later in a comment.
All right. So Jared, before watching this film, were you expecting it to be like a tragedy, or two movie stars having extreme photogenic problems in the rain?
Well, I wasn't expecting neither, actually. I don't know why you're giving me an A or B answer or for these questions. No, I didn't think that, but I'm only very briefly familiar with the source material, but I do know that it's definitely the two movie star thing definitely stands out in this film. I will say for sure. Do you want me to go ahead and say my overall thoughts, or you want to go?
Well, I just, I'm also not as familiar with the source material.
Yeah.
And, but yes, I don't know what I was expecting going into this, but,
Okay.
but yeah, I think just photogenic. I mean, the visuals are so strong in this film that and then you get these very attractive movie stars playing these lead roles in it. So it's hard to not become like almost the focal length or focal point of the film.
I mean, that was clearly intentional on her part for sure.
So, when the movie ended, what emotional state were you in?
Boredom and I guess the word would be shallow.
Okay.
I'll expand on those later, but
Yeah.
I would say that's two of the things
Yeah. Okay.
that immediately comes to mind. What about you?
It was like sad, I think.
Okay.
But I think the sadness came from how much or how long it, again, is kind of spoiler, but yeah, I won't get into it because but that's where it left me, like a kind of
Sad.
yeah.
Okay.
What most surprised you most about this film? Was there a surprise moment?
No, because like what happens at the end, like I already knew that was part of the story. So no, I don't think anything really in particular. Yeah.
I found that it was the tone shift, I think, was the most surprising. And
Tone shift.
yeah, like from where it started
Where it started
to where it ended. So Jared, then what's your opening verdict? This film.
Opening verdict. Oh,
yeah.
We
Thoughts. Okay.
our cases for this film. It could get that way. So you already mentioned, my first thing is visually, this film is beautiful. Love the look of it. And again, I wrote down already, I'm very excited to see what he does. Well, I've already seen some of it from the trailer. I know you're skipping the trailers for Dune 3, but also, I mean, the other stuff he's done, Linus Sandgren, he's Damien Chazelle's main DP, which is like amazing, especially La La Land is incredible looking. And he did Babylon as well with Damien Chazelle, and No Time to Die, which not a good film, but I mean, I remember it looking great.
Yes.
But they all do. I mean, those especially. But so aside from the visuals, and set design, costumes, all were fantastic.
Yeah, I agree.
It's felt like a modern take on the story for sure to me, and it felt very shallow and superficial to me. Like, and we can get into more of that later, but that was kind of my main takeaway. And then, which actually I was thinking is kind of similar to our other films, and I think maybe like especially Saltburn, which is what I didn't like about that one. So I think maybe I just don't like her feel for films. I don't know. I mean, she only has 3. Like we've gone into them, but she doesn't have that many right now. But and I also just want to mention, like, no shade to the actors though, because like Margot Robbie and Jacob Elordi, like we know they're both great actors. So nothing against them. It's just it's just that's the feel of the film, and also the film could have been 40 minutes shorter. Also, it's my other thing. Or so, 40 or so, maybe half an hour. But yeah, what'd you think?
Okay, I think I liked this more, but
Okay,
because I think
I figured you probably would like it
did
more than me.
emotionally resonate with me more than I think. I didn't.
Okay.
I think the way it approaches it does, I think, mix obsession with love.
Oh yeah.
And kind of plays with that idea. But I do think, like I said, ultimately it's just kind of sad story because they, what could have been and doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Let's get into story and plot.
Yeah.
So I think the first kind of critical scene is when we were introduced to Heathcliff and he gets named, and Kathy names him that based, she says for deceased brother, which we never get mentioned otherwise.
No.
Which is kind of interesting. But
which could be in the source, in the source material.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
We're not
familiar with the source material. But I just feel like we don't explore that at all than just that random offhand comment, which I find interesting. But I think what it sets up though is that dynamic between them, right?
Yes.
And so do you think
with Catherine?
Yeah,
Catherine and Heathcliff.
Yeah, Kathy and Heathcliff, their dynamic, and it kind of, to me, it definitely, that the dynamic of like at some level she owns him.
Okay.
Right, like there's like a certain control she has over him, and like but then there's also a friendship or love, so to speak, and so it's like kind of
since they were kids,
balancing that, right? Like 'cause she kind of so
it's just it's a very long, it's a lifelong bond too, since they just just that long period of time since they were kids. Definitely plays into it.
So do we think, did you feel that the childhood section actually genuinely earned what we see later as the adult obsession, or
the obsession part, not as much. Like I didn't really feel that, but or see that in the same way, I should say. But the emotional moments of when they were kids, I thought was great though. All that was done well, and actually believed it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the stuff with the kids.
Yeah, and I mean the two actors they got to play them too was pretty spot on. Like they definitely, and they did a great job.
They did the kids.
And they definitely look like them. Yeah.
They they established the emotional dependency and support that childhood trauma creates for them.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's and then of course him stepping in and kind of protecting her.
Yeah,
is also, I think, a critical.
It's a big thing. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that then her creating an emotional dependency on him for that.
Yep. Let me ask you a quick aside. How do you feel about pretty much everything you watch in 2026 having to do with trauma? Are you getting sick of that at all? Because I am. Whether it's childhood trauma or just trauma in general from the past.
All right.
Are you noticing that in a lot of modern storytelling?
Well, I feel like that's the generation that's coming up that's in that age range that's getting to be the.
You don't need to lean on it as a crutch though for all your storytelling though. Is my point.
Yeah.
Maybe it doesn't bother you much, but I would
say it bothers you as much as it's a I see it as just a storytelling device that a certain generation is definitely using way more. And it's also the same generation that, is very about going to therapy and things like that too. There's nothing against therapy. I'm not saying it's
not that there's anything wrong with that.
Not that, but like it's just the nature of the culture of that generation.
Yeah.
And so it's coming through in their storytelling and everything.
No, yeah. I get that. But
because it's art,
you don't have to.
But art's how you process things, right?
Sure.
And that's a lot of what storytellers do is processing their own emotions and through their creative.
Yeah.
So I guess the next key moment is kind of as Kathy season out for their non-ideal situation that they're living in, right? And she's, as the new neighbor moves in, and there's and then of course he even proposes. So do you think she's choosing that to survive or move up in status?
From the way she talked about it, for the most part, to me, it wasn't out of survival. It was definitely because she talked a lot about like, oh, I'd love to be rich. That's it. It seemed a lot more about to me personally with her, because she mentioned that several times when she was talking about this guy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean,
because you know how long they survived the way they did anyway. It's like they know how to do it. Not that obviously it's ideal, but it's, they're used to it.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I don't know. It seemed to be more,
Yeah. Yeah, it seems like she's just wanting to level up, so to speak, because even her comment about he can never give her that for a Heathcliff that she gives to, and then she's like, but I love him, and that's a key moment that again, it kind of debating whether from a storytelling, it's like it's very convenient that he steps away, doesn't hear the rest of it in that moment, right? Like because it's like where that one, like if he paused for 10 more seconds and didn't walk away, it would change the whole movie.
Yes.
Again, I don't know if it's source material,
right,
where they how they make that work and not, but when I was watching, because it all comes back to that. I mean, later they reference that because what's the name, the paid friend. What's her name? Nellie.
Yeah,
Nellie.
I gotta be honest, I only know Heathcliff and
so Nellie,
Kathy.
Nellie's the one that saw he was standing there and knew that he only heard part of it and not the whole thing, and that comes back later when, and then so I really, it's pretty, to me, I think she's just wanting to get it. She's so obsessed with that lifestyle that she sees an opportunity to grab it and doesn't think that, even though she loves Heathcliff, that he could ever give that to her. So she takes the opportunity
until he does.
Yeah. But that's the twist, right?
Yeah.
Now,
I think around this time, sorry, I just want to mention, because I think this character comes in around this time. I have a note here. It was great to see Aemon Targaryen again, because I believe he was in Saltburn also, but it's also just funny because we're covering House of the Dragon season 3 on the TV pod. So it was just funny to see him in this.
Yeah,
don't remember the character's name, but
right. Yeah, I don't either. So that kind of leads me into this next critical moment, which is Nellie kind of engineering this, like, right, because she's prompt. She knows he's overhearing, and she's prompting Kathy to kind of give her these answers, and she's kind of steering it and knowing and trying to basically push her away from Heathcliff because she knows that, because Nellie knows that for a better life, Kathy needs to go with the other guy, but also knows that Kathy really loves Heathcliff. So I think this was another critical moment. Like I said, like it's also very, that's a pivotal moment that, like, if it went just slightly different, would change the whole story.
Yep. I imagine that is pretty central to the source material too. That part of it.
Probably. Yeah. But I mean, does it, so I guess the real question is, do we think Nellie really just has the best interest for Kathy, or is it Nellie's own selfish interests there?
I honestly don't know, but I imagine because of how a lot of the characters are in this story, it probably is, a lot of it would be a selfish interest, just because it seemed like a lot of the other characters operate that way as well. So I imagine she probably does too, at least to some degree. Yeah.
So I think, she was looking out for herself just as much as anything. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
So the next kind of, I think, key moment is when Heathcliff returns, right? So it's like 5 years later, she's married now to the other dude.
Yep.
Which I forget his name, but
me too.
But he comes back and he's got money now. But I think the kind of the ways, how to say this, like, just because outwardly he's transformed, still when he's around her, he has, like, still seems, he acts like he's beneath her, right? Like she still has,
how it's always been with him. Yeah, their dynamic. Yeah, that's true.
I think it speaks to a common thing where it's like, if someone knew you when you were nothing, they still see you as nothing, even though you've actually, grown and changed and moved past that. They still see you as the whatever, that stage that they knew you.
It also, though, seems like Catherine enjoys it being that way too, that dynamic.
Oh yeah.
So, I mean,
no, it's what they know, right? They fall into both roles that they played as children,
as kids. Yeah.
And I think, I mean, again, I guess that's a different way of saying it, but it's kind of the same thing that I was.
Kind of reminds me of beginning of Princess Bride, where she just calls him farm boy. And he's just like, he just does whatever. Oh, and obviously he just responds as you wish and just does everything, that she's asked him to do. Reminds me a little bit of that, which I imagine, obviously, because this is a very old story, that was probably influenced in elements in Princess Bride, I imagine.
I think when he like just shows up out of the fog, it's pretty ridiculous. Like, he all of a sudden, it's visually cool, but it's just, it's very over the top. And like,
yeah, of course. But there's a lot of other moments like that in this. Yeah, visually, yeah. It's part of it. Seems to be part of the style of how she wanted to do this film.
Yeah. It's, I feel like it's like the film in general, especially the stuff as adults, after this point when like he comes back and it's like very much feels like a cover of a romance novel / like perfume commercials.
Oh yeah.
Like, it's just So again, it's not necessarily wrong choice.
No, I mean that makes sense for the type of for this kind of story. I mean, for sure, and it's probably what the director Emerald. I think it's Emerald, right? Fennell. It's actually a D.
I don't think. Is there a D?
I thought there was a D. I thought it was actually Emerald.
Yes, there's a D.
Okay.
Emerald Fennell.
Yeah. And she's probably into those kind of things, or maybe she's read a lot of, not only Wuthering Heights, but a lot of those type of romance novels, and she probably wanted to make it feel like that kind of come to life. That's what it seems like she wanted to do with this.
So then things kind of collapse. So then the next kind of, I think, key plot point here is where we find out she's pregnant, but she doesn't tell him. Doesn't tell Heathcliff, and they start their affair. So he doesn't know she's pregnant by her husband, and then they kind of have these different moments of hooking up throughout different secretive locations.
So this will be a good moment to, one of my other notes is because this is also, again, this is definitely her style, because this is also very prominent in Saltburn too, but a lot of the sex scenes, well, actually even the one with Aemon Targaryen, I apologize, the character's name I don't know, earlier on, in the stable. Are they in the stable? Because he used a lot of the horse or
stuff, yeah, and it's basically where Heathcliff sleeps above.
Yeah, so that scene, and then obviously some with them, and later on in the movie as well with Heathcliff and Catherine as well. They just, all those like sex scenes just felt like they're just trying to be shocking for shocking's sake, and I don't know, like it just felt like it was doing too much, which I believe is how I phrased it in Saltburn as well. And I don't know, I just felt that again.
Yeah, they definitely lean into the fetishiness.
Oh yeah,
of it.
that's definitely her feel or her thing.
But then also in this film, there's really not any nudity.
No. So
like from a shocking standpoint, it's like which I don't think you have to have nudity to portray things, but it's interesting that you could still make it like shocking when there's actually no and or like feel graphic, right?
Yes.
Even though there's
the thing is though is that it just like with that other film of hers too, it's the way she does it though, because the more fetish part of it is, it's the way she does it though, because it's like that is in plenty of other type of films, and I think it's just done way better. I don't know. So again though, this is just me. I think this is just part of what I don't like about her approach, and it's clearly her thing, obviously, because of the other movie too. Again, I'm only referencing Saltburn because it's not so much in her first film, but again, that was her first film, Promising Young Woman. So yeah, but at least 0 for 2, or 2 out of 3 at least of her films. So yeah, that's clearly her thing and what she likes doing, and obviously appeals to a lot of women that probably are similar to her, because this film, I remember when it came out, the same with Saltburn, it was all over TikTok and everything, and a lot of girls I know especially were talking about it and loved it. So so it's just, that's definitely her kind of avenue, which is great. We have someone like that, because there's clearly a ton of people that like this kind of feel, and it did, remember it doing really well in theaters as well, I think, when it came out.
Yeah, for this type of film, I think I noticed that I think it ended up grossing about 80 million as well. Okay, which for what it is, is pretty high.
I want to say Saltburn actually, I think, did fairly well too when it came out.
Probably.
Yeah.
I feel like that one maybe did didn't have probably as much hype on the front end.
No,
and then
because that was later.
and it probably did well as far as like just word of mouth.
Yes.
Whereas this was like pretty strong hyped on the front end. And
Yes.
I don't know if it had as much of a
Longevity.
Yeah,
I don't think so. Didn't
probably,
seem like
probably
it.
most of the people that were going to see it went and saw it, and then
Yes.
but I think it's interesting, this dynamic. So evidently the original source material, they don't actually ever have sex.
Okay.
It's just, at least from what I was understanding from some of the stuff I was reading, and again, I've never read the original book, but
Okay.
the affair never actually goes to full completion.
Yeah. The way it plays out at the end, though, that is, I'm assuming, part of the source material, though, right? Because that part seemed familiar where I was like, oh, okay, I think this is very true to it, but maybe not.
I don't know.
Okay. All right. Well, we can get there.
Yeah. But, so I guess the question is, how does that change the dynamic, right? It's like, I guess, imagine how would the film be different if they never actually, it was just more flirtatious and longing and never really consummated the affair.
I think personally I would have liked it more, but again, I like I mean, it would have a way different feel to it. And again, just to be clear, because like, just so people know, I have no issue with sex in movies, and like I'm not like a prude at all. Like, it doesn't bother me that way. It's just, it's more of just the way she goes about it in her films. It's just like, I just feel like it's like, I don't know. I just don't think it's done well, personally. But
it's not tasteful.
No, I don't know. Yeah, it's hard to explain because, again, like, I mean, there's plenty of films I see that I do really like that are extreme in that aspect. And yeah, so I don't really know how to explain it beyond that.
You think it's this?
It's just more of just, she's like, it's like
It's
trying
just
too hard to do
but
it.
you think is it just because it's through
She's
the
like
eyes
being
of
an edgelord about it? I don't know. It's hard to like. I don't
the
really
eyes of a
know how to
woman,
explain it.
and how and that's why it appeals to women more.
Sure, I mean, it could be that way because, again, yeah, this is my, a male's
and then the stuff that like
perspective.
you connect with better is through a male's perspective when he's directing.
Sure,
When a male's
yeah.
directing versus a woman.
It's a good way to put it. Yeah,
Which is, there's two different audiences out there,
for sure.
well, more than two, but like,
There's a reason why. I mean, the romance type novels that get into this kind of thing a lot are very popular with women. So,
Yeah. So then the next, I think, key moment here is, it escalates to the part where she kind of says it's got to stop. And then inadvertently, Heathcliff finds out that she's pregnant. And then, and she's like, no, it's not yours. And like, cause then he thinks it's his.
Right.
Because of the amount of sex they've been having. And, so then that triggers him to start coming on to is this the guy's sister? I don't
I don't know.
They never really specify why,
I don't know.
but I kind of, this is what it feels like. It's like
Okay.
the wealthy guy that she marries, which again,
Yeah.
what's his name? I put him
That
up here.
would, I mean, that sounds right, but I honestly don't know if it is a sister or not.
It's Edgar.
Okay.
Edgar. So I think it's Edgar. Isabella is Edgar's, I think, Edgar's sister.
But this is different than the woman that Aegon Targaryen does what he does with in the stable.
Yeah, Isabella's.
Is it the same?
They're a different person. Yeah.
Okay. I wanted to make sure. Okay.
Why were you confused?
No. I wanted to remember what her name was as well.
Oh, I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't either.
Like,
Okay, I
she's
wanted
like
to
a
ask.
maid or something.
She was. Yeah.
like
Okay. Yeah. That's right.
she's
We
just
don't
like
get
one of the-
get her that much anyways. Yeah. No, I knew it was a different person.
And then later you find out she went and married somebody else and had some
Okay,
kids.
that's right. Yeah.
So this is interesting because we get the moments of like Isabella talking to Catherine about how he's attractive, Heathcliff, and like she kind of likes him, and then she's like, oh, he would kill you, destroy you. So, but once Heathcliff can't have Catherine, to kind of get back at her, he basically starts turning on the charm, so to speak, I guess, to Isabella, but also is upfront with her and is like, I will never love you. I will never blah, 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 blah. And,
I mean, but they still clearly still wants to do it.
The courthouse, she still wants to. And so he just kind of weaponizes their whole
Hey, you know what, though? Good on him for being upfront about it, though. And she still was like, all right.
Yeah.
He was very clear about it.
And this actress, Alison Oliver.
Yeah.
Because she was in Saltburn as well. As like
okay.
She was like the weird sister there, too.
All right. She looked kind of familiar, but then I was like, I don't really know. That's probably the only other thing I've seen.
Yeah, I agree. But I think both times she gives like her performances is great. Especially the the shift of kind of opening up to what Heathcliff even wants, and then she's like barking as a dog and doing some crazy stuff.
There's
later.
more of that too. Yeah.
But like earlier on, she's very reserved and like timid, right? And so I think it's just an interesting dynamic that to see how he pulls that out of her almost like or allows her to explore something that she was maybe holding back on that she was not aware.
Oh, also the time period that this is set in, which I don't know if we ever actually get the year, but it's more just like, it doesn't need to have a year, but this, this type of time period. Yeah. Which I know at least that, like, that's for sure. The original text of this is like, that is the era of it. Yeah. So like, which is obviously good that I like that she kept it in that same, and not just made it straight up modern in every way, to the time period even.
So then we kind of get Kathy. So Kathy's supposed to, not see him anymore, Heathcliff. And of course, so she starts writing letters and has Nellie write letters. Mm-hmm. But then Nellie doesn't deliver the letters or burns the responses, something like that.
Yeah.
So we continue to see Nellie as kind of the villain here. Like, she's the one that orchestrated, the separation from Heathcliff when they were younger, before she married. And then now she's keeping them apart again, like we talked about earlier. I think it's a mix of her quote unquote doing what's best for Catherine, but also ultimately what's best for Nellie and her keeping things the way they are in her lifestyle. So, and then I think this part, it's interesting to see, like, at first you think she's just depressed, right? Mm-hmm. And then it kind of, but by the end, because of Nellie's almost like disdain for Catherine, is like clouds her judgment on like her actual health.
Yeah.
And so she doesn't pick up on the fact that she's actually sick.
Yeah.
Till it's too late.
Yeah.
And so this, it's very tragic that she dies just from like the infection from having a stillborn or whatever it was, or miscarry that kind of stayed in. And,
yeah, because even they have you see the shot of them, like with even the, was it leeches that they were using? Yeah, even, which obviously was something they did then yeah, it's brutal.
Yeah. Also, I know we're not talking about visuals as much, but like even that shot was like crazy.
Oh yeah.
Like just the composition and things.
It's awesome. Yeah.
So I guess the question, like, so then, Heathcliff shows up and you get this moment between him and Edgar where, and it almost, again, Edgar almost, it's almost like he feels bad for Heathcliff in that moment.
You think so?
and he almost tries to protect him by being like, you don't want to go up there. I don't know. Like I saw it in the performance. To me, like it came through that you know, I know because up until that point before that, I think he had like a little bit of jealousy of Heathcliff because he knew, but then I think also he knew they had a bond that he could never have with them, and then when she died, like he was like, you know, I think he felt bad.
Felt bad, but also has maybe accepted it finally at that point too. That he would never have that with her. Yeah.
Yeah. So, how did you feel then? You know, we talked about it a little bit at the beginning, but this ending here, like this moment, and Heathcliff actually coming in there and seeing her corpse.
Oh, that moment was good. I mean, tragic was a good word you used for it. And that moment I thought was done really well, especially visually, like you already mentioned. So that aspect, like, I think it was it was impactful for an ending for sure. Yeah. I did like that. Yeah. But then again, at that point also already, it's just like, man, it was just way too long. Like, it's just, to me, it was.
Yeah, I mean, I think I can see that a little bit. I think there was
But again, you enjoy the film more than me, so you maybe didn't feel it as much.
Yeah.
Or felt the length.
Yeah, I didn't. I don't know if I noticed it as much. I also watched it in 2 sittings.
Oh, okay.
That might have helped.
That might help.
I watched about an hour of it and then stopped and then came back to it later and watched the other hour-ish. But so here I just want to talk because you were talking about Shallow, so let's talk about this a little bit. Mm-hmm. Like, to me, like what really came through was, you know, there was I think the director did a good job of kind of balancing this in them, where I think they deep down they both actually truly did love each other and had a bond that, like, just, you know, from being, again, trauma at young age,
and their whole lives
just being together for that long.
For sure.
There's a certain bond that you have. I mean, just like, you know, you and I have as siblings, like there's a bond that, like, it's almost impossible to replicate that any other way, right? Because you grew up together. So I think it was a good balance of that, but then there was also then that obsession that comes from the codependence that they built on each other that is unhealthy at some level, right?
Yes.
And so I feel like they did a good job of balancing that at some level, and then of course that codependency is what kind of surfaced at the higher, or what caused them to do the immature thing, right, and have an affair, do the different thing, right? But then ultimately there at the end, which I like, again, the way I read from Edgar, even like feeling that like he felt bad for him because he ultimately, you know, knew that they had this connection, this bond, this love that like you said, Edgar and her would never have. And then it's like, that's where I was like, it was sad because I was like, if they could have just gotten over themselves and like those like surface stuff, and really, it's like ultimately they could have been great together. I think, and had a true, like, you know, which I guess, I don't know, again, I haven't read the source material, but like most of these, it's like, you know, it's whatever it is, probably like all these these types of stories where it's like, you know,
you have to have the tragic bit, though,
but it's also like
kind of story.
The ultimate goal or the idealism is this, like, but there is this possibility to have this, you know, great relationship that's like, you know, everything that you would hope it would be, right? Like, and so it's like, I think at least the way it's portrayed, that they had the potential for that, but they just never could quite make it happen / see it because of the other stuff. And of course then you throw in the paid friend, just Nellie, like manipulating the situations too to kind of keep them apart, which then is also part of the sad, tragic thing, because it's like, maybe she would have never meddled, they could have lived happily ever after, maybe they would have money, maybe they wouldn't,
Right.
Because she does say that at that moment, like she's like, but I love him, like kind of like, hey, all that stuff doesn't matter because and so.
But then at the same time, it does really matter to her too, though. Yeah, it's
yes, but like I think again, you could argue Nellie kind of manipulated and pushed her that way because then he leaves and kind of and starts putting a wall up between like Heathcliff starts putting a wall up between him and Catherine because of her comment, but he didn't hear the whole comment, and that was all orchestrated by Nellie. So if she would have done that, then he might not have put the wall up, and she might have like still said, "Hey, I love you. I'm not marrying this guy."
Yeah.
So anyway,
and you said then they could have been good together, which like I agree with that part, but.
But maybe not.
It wouldn't have been healthy though, because we're talking about then there's a whole codependency side. Right. So,
no, I mean, it could have been, couldn't it? I mean, could they work through that? Maybe not.
Well, yeah.
No, we'll never know.
Nope.
You got any more? Because I just want to talk a little bit about character performances.
No, yeah, that was it. Yeah, for that.
All right, so character performances like, so let's talk about Margot Robbie's character. Do you think she grew as a character, or is she the same person all the way through?
I think ultimately, I don't think she grew. I think deep down, she's the same person still. Yeah. What about you?
Yeah, I think I can get on board with that. Like, okay. I think what she did as a child is what she was still doing as an adult.
Yeah.
With the kind of treating people's love as proof that they belong to her.
Okay. Yeah.
Even though she refuses to kind of fully give herself back to them.
Yeah.
All right. What about Heathcliff, Jacob Elordi's character? Does he communicate the transformation as well?
Like his transformation was more all like, I was trying to think like actually him growing as a person. I don't know, because everything is more physical and like, it's like obviously the way he looks and material, possessions, like all that obviously changed drastically, but him as a person, I don't know. He potentially also could be the same, but then again, then that would work.
I think that
for them together.
I think I don't disagree with you.
Not in a healthy way, but
I think he's still
like
that emotional, desperate child.
Yeah,
just an adult body with money now.
Yeah,
like because we do see him as adult body before that, but at the end, I think Elordi does a great job at that performance, though, because I think especially
they both did.
They both did. But there's some moments where you see it in him, where it's like that same, where he's
you see like the little boy.
Yeah. It's like so easy to see that same little boy, even though he's this grown man with
I mean, and it's a good storytelling, cinematic storytelling moment too, with him in that way, because it's like you even see it symbolized at least one shot where they actually purposely show you it, like all the scars on his back. So like that is a constant thing that he'll always have.
How'd you feel about Nellie as a character?
She was great too. Yeah, I remember her being great in Saltburn as well. Yeah,
and that's
the other one.
Yeah, that's Isabella.
Nellie is
the paid friend.
Okay, yeah, I was getting that mixed up. Yeah, she was good too. I mean, there wasn't anyone that I thought.
Yeah, I think
it was like a bad performance.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think they were all great.
Yeah.
Edgar doesn't have a lot to do,
Right.
as much that character, but I think
but he plays that part well. I mean, you don't need.
he does. Yeah.
Yeah, you don't. It's not really about him.
I do think thinking about it, I really think I found the supporting characters. I don't know, like let's say stronger, but because they had to convey more of a change, that I feel like they stood out even more to me. I think it's the best way to probably put it. Like,
but the thing is, they don't need to though, because ultimately it is just our main two. Like that's the whole the Wuthering Heights story is.
No, I know, but that's why it's
them.
to me
Yeah,
they even stand out more.
It's elevated.
Nellie and Isabel. Nellie and Isabel's performances.
The two girls, not that guy.
Yeah, the other two ladies, because they are so nuanced, and yet you can see their change, and yet they don't have as much screen time. They don't have as much, and yet they're still. I think it comes through. And
name drop. Podcast name drop.
Yeah.
Screen time. Sorry, continue.
What did I say? Screen.
You said screen time. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I did say it. Yes. Anyway, I think. I guess it's like I know Margot Robbie and Jacob Elordi are good, and I've seen them in plenty of things. And then these other two ladies, I didn't, it wasn't until partway through that I even realized where I'd seen Allison Oliver. Like I knew she looked familiar, but and then the other lady that's playing Nellie, like I don't know that I've seen her in something else even,
right.
But I thought both performances were
for sure.
All right, let's get into some of the cinematography and other stuff. So I think, first of all, I think this is one of the strongest part. Even though the acting's all great, the cinematography in this film is fantastic.
Yeah,
it is insane, honestly.
Yes,
and I'm actually, like I said, I'm curious to see what he does in Dune, because I think at some level, because of the blockbuster nature of Dune, that he will be a little more constrained in what he can do than I think you can do in a film like this, because this being like kind of feels more like an indie film, even though the budget wasn't. Yeah, but like it kind of allows you to do some stuff that's a little more creative and a little more edgy, for lack of a better word, and visual wise. And I think there's just screen grabs you could pull from this that are just gorgeous.
Oh yeah, I mean that's how Dune Part 1 and Part 2 were. It's like you could pause it at any point. I would say, I mean, a lot of Villeneuve's films are like that, but also, I mean, that's Greg Fraser or Deakins. I love just how much like mist and fog were on the scenes. It was just awesome. It just made it look even.
And just lighting in general. Like, I mean, there's so many things where it's, and
then it made the colors pop more obviously with the costume design. Especially on Catherine, in that, which was great too. Yeah, that made it like really pop on the screen.
Obviously, the set design plays a big role in that too.
That was the other one. Yeah, those are the main three.
They filmed it they filmed it with film, 35mm film. Sick. So, or at least most scenes, and which I think that texture also brings some authenticity to the sets and designs, even if they are a little lavish in other ways, like the lighting and things.
I believe Dune Part 3 saw something about all film as well, I want to say, which is great.
What do we think about some of the storytelling devices, like the textures and tactileness of like skin and hair and the corsets and the walls and the mud and the blood, like all these like close-up textures of things. I thought it was great use of.
I agree. You know what though? That reminds me though. What I hated though was the exaggerated sound design. On that stuff.
That was so I
didn't write that down, so I wanted to mention that before I forgot. because that reminded me of that.
Because I like that. Like,
Okay.
I thought it was a interesting kind of subvert your expectations, especially in the opening scene.
Yeah.
Where the sound like someone was having sex.
Yes.
And yet it was a guy struggling while he's being hung.
Yeah. Yes.
Or hanged. Sorry.
Hanged. Yeah. Hanged.
Not what's a person. Yeah, I do. I mean, I've got some other sound design notes because
Okay.
elsewhere, but I just, since you brought it up, I wanted to. I think the editing was good here. The pacing in general, like I never thought like there was. I know you said it could be shorter, but never felt like there were sections that just like really could just be cut out, and from a pacing standpoint for me.
Definitely not the beginning. Mine were later into the film, I think, is when I started to feel it. And you said everything, especially when they were young, which again, that's not that much of the film,
Yeah.
but all that was great. I don't think you cut any of that.
Yeah, it's well, go ahead.
But just one more thing with cinematography that goes into the mist and fog, all that, is that in combination with just like the really like sweeping landscape shots, which is beautiful as well, which is a lot of that too, which is awesome.
Yeah. There's just like a good, the really wide shots where the characters are almost smaller in the frame. Yeah. And yet, like, I love when they do that. And it's
Me too.
Obviously much more challenging to do. And, but also I think, yeah, comes across really great. The, yeah, it's interesting because like, I kind of can see what you're pointing about. Like you could cut some stuff because it's kind of teetering on, because either you could cut it a little bit more and just make it a little bit tighter film, or you make it longer and because like we don't see the romance, we don't see her marriage.
You make it longer, then it has to be a miniseries.
Yeah, then you don't see the marriage between like for the 5 years of her marriage, right?
Yeah.
Like, or even really the consequences of some of the stuff. Like you just don't. It's all off screen, and so you could kind of do either or, right? And it kind of sits in the middle, which, yeah. Thought the dollhouse was kind of a little much.
Yeah, it was whatever.
It was all just to set up so that she then later could show her, like Isabel could show like, well, is implied that Isabel destroyed and killed Catherine's doll. There's so
that maybe that was another pivotal thing from the text that I don't know.
Yep.
I don't know if that was added or not, or you know.
Yeah, I don't know. I think the color grading, like everything being kind of gray a lot of the time.
Love the color grading.
And then allowing that allows for like the color moment, especially like at the end when you get all the blood.
Yes.
It really makes it more impactful.
Yep. And we know he can do coloring really well because of La La Land. Incredible. Like the color palette, I guess we would call it, and that was just so sick.
So we're talking about sound design and music.
Yeah.
So how did you feel about like the pop songs mixed in there?
Oh yeah, it's I was going to mention it's Charlie XCX, in combination with Anthony Willis, and I really like Charlie XCX in general, as an artist, but I didn't. I don't know. I didn't mind that like modern feel to it, because I would say also like with the score in particular, I really liked the hybrid or genre blending of like incredible sounding strings, honestly. Like that was my favorite part of it. Mixed with a lot of like electronic kicks and stuff like that. Like I love that combination. I mean, I like mixing those kind of things anyways, and you hear that a lot more in modern scores anyway, but I love that. That in particular combination, really like low strings, cello or double basses. I love that sound anyway, but then mix that with like huge electronic kicks or like 808s. Awesome combination. That was my favorite part of the score. And like they sounded massive too. It was like the really airy quality too, which I was curious and wonder how they recorded them too, because it was awesome. Sounded huge. Just great. That was my favorite thing about that. So yeah, I don't think the songs bother me.
Okay.
That modern part of it didn't bother me. Yeah, I don't think. Did you like them or did you not like them?
It was kind of a mix. There was like moments where if it felt right, but then also it felt off. Like the score, the main part or the score part, I loved it. I thought it was good.
Yeah.
I didn't notice all the nuance stuff that you mentioned, but like I was like, it feels good.
Yeah.
But I don't know, there's something. I feel like it. I think it. But I mean, overall, the whole film is kind of doing this. It's teetering on trying to be, the modern like take on this stuff, and so I think the mixture, I guess, is the right choice. From if you were like going at this film as like, here's kind of our goal, we're going to kind of find that balance between a mix of like the period piece and modernization, and so they're doing that same thing in the music, right? Like that's
definitely the feel it seems like she's going for. So yeah, no, I mean,
so I guess it's the right choice in that sense.
Yeah,
I think it took me out of the film a couple of times when that came in, and then it feels like
actually the singing.
It feels like some teen drama versus the period piece that I'm watching, right? And which I guess is the goal. But
yeah, and I mean, it would have still been better if there was no vocals and it was just the hybrid sounding score mix. It would have still been better.
I think that maybe is what the vocals really pulled me out.
Yep, I agree. But yeah, I didn't mind the pop songs as much as you, but yeah, it still would have been better without it. Just overall.
All right, so just like some closing discussion here before we get into what the movie's all about. So
yeah,
how do you feel about then like how much plot they removed? Is kind of what we talked about.
Plot they removed?
Yeah, like when we were talking about where it's kind of. I mean, you feel like I guess you should have just removed more. I guess is what you were getting at, because it's like they adapted the feel and not really the narrative fully, right? Like and I guess then it's like a different take, but it's an intentional take.
Yes, for sure.
We kind of talked about them having sexual relationship versus not, and it was a big change, I think, from the source material. Do we feel like it deepened the consequences or like stopping the yearning too soon? Because like will they, won't they is kind of, I guess, what a lot of times builds some of the tension.
Yeah. I can see from that. That aspect. Yeah, I think I would have. Yeah, it would have been better just tension wise, sexually, if it was just all like you mentioned the original form of the story. Definitely would have been more impactful because of that. Just holding back the whole time. So yeah, in that way, it definitely changed the dynamics. But again, if the vision that it seems like she wanted for this, it's like you have to have all of that. And obviously she likes getting into all that, like in like a very specific way. So I think you had to have all that, and even the more I don't know, the just the more fetishization, I can't say that word, side of it too. I think you have to have that in there too if you want it to be this modern take.
Well, that's fair. How do you feel about Nellie's interference? Does that, without it, do they end up happy, or do they just destroy each other faster?
I don't know. It's hard to say because of that. I don't know. What do you think? Because I mean, it could have just not played out any different, whether she was there or not.
Mm.
With how, well, I guess I should say with how they would be when he comes back and is a different person. I don't know. Their interaction from there on out. I don't know.
I mean, but would he even gotten to that if they ended up together? Would he ever even go and try to make money and figure that out? Which, who knows how he did that, because that was
unclear too.
Hand wave.
Yep.
Somehow I made a bunch of money.
Yeah.
Tell me your secrets. How'd you make that?
Very different in that time as opposed to now. You found an AI company. That's what he would have to do now.
Found it. All right. So what do you think the heart of this movie is? The message, the themes?
I don't really think this is where we're going to differ a lot, because I don't really think there is, and I think this is the part that I think was just not done well, because this is kind of just expanding on what I already mentioned, but it seemed like it tried to go like way too deep with its themes, but then ultimately just felt shallow to me. That was like why I was thinking of it in that way. Like almost kind of the same way with like depicting the way they depict the sex scenes and like trying to almost like overdo it too much or try too hard. I that's a better way to put it. Trying too hard. It's kind of how it felt with the themes too. It felt like, to me, it felt like it was trying too hard to make the themes deeper as well. And I don't know. Yeah. Overall, then it just felt not impactful at all to me in that way. Now, not everything though, because again, like obviously her death, like that still it was done really well, and same with, like as mentioned in the beginning, with them as kids, was done really well too. So not everything, but it just I don't know, but I don't think you felt that way. So
no, not that extreme. Like to me, I think it is about the danger of confusing emotional intensity with and passion or possession. Sorry. Emotional intensity and possession, confusing that with true love. Yeah. And that's
a very common thing.
And I think it's
especially more so now.
Yeah.
I would say,
well, just like
in our day and age,
right?
Now.
Like it's like there's for lack of like the butterfly feeling or whatever you want to call it, of course, like like where it's like, oh, we're in love, and it's not like real love. It's just infatuation or whatever. Yes. And it's like that feeling of that that's exciting and it's fun, but not to confuse it with it's also depending on what you want. Like that's great if you're someone that just wants to live in that moment temporarily, then sure, that's like great, but then it's also, and I think it portrays well, like, but to pursue that means to be irresponsible and irregard to any other feelings or other people's feelings, and it's very selfish.
Yes.
All right, so if you could fix one thing in this film, what would you fix to make it better?
Well, forgive me, Emerald Fennell, because I'm not a director and you are.
Mm-hmm.
So don't listen to what I have to say. But if you come across this pod, which if you do, that's awesome. And thank you for listening. If you did, you have a visually beautiful film. That's what I'll say. But one thing to fix it, this is just going to be a broken record thing for me. But honestly, like to her in particular, like just don't try so hard, you know. And then it just feels forced to me again, because it seems like a lot of people it didn't feel that way about it. But I don't know. Felt like it was forced too much in both the sexual side and the actual true love side, or like fate, destinies part of it as well. Yeah, I don't know, but again, that's just like, how do you quantify that in an actual in a tangible way? I don't know exactly. Mm-hmm. It's just the best way I can describe it. Don't try so hard. Mm. So I don't know. I don't know how to explain any more than that.
I think I understand what you're saying.
Okay.
I just get what you're talking about. I think for me, I think I know it's like unusual, but I think if we made it a little bit longer and just like I was talking about earlier, a little bit of getting to see a little bit of her marriage before, mm-hmm. I think also would give Edgar a little bit more depth, because he, mm-hmm. you know, and then which then we can make us more sympathetic to him. Also a little bit of, I think, built a little bit more while they were young adults, or, you know, before she got married.
Yeah.
To establish that there maybe is some little bit real love there.
Yeah.
So that you feel it more later when she has to go to him, and like, even though her marriage she's jeopardizing her marriage for that. I think that just some of those moments could have given it a little bit more depth to the characters and the emotion than and maybe a little less provocative visuals for the sex things. Yeah. If you wanted to, you know, cut something, but I don't know. But that's what gets that's what gets butts in the seats.
Oh yeah, it clearly does. If it seemed like it did well. You know what? That it's kind of similar to like I think I mentioned this when we were covering the newest season of Euphoria. Like, man, he did that a lot in that season too.
Yeah.
Just trying too hard to be shocking and, mm-hmm. you know, like with certain things. I don't know. I felt that way about that as well. Kind of in a similar way, but crap, there was one more thing I was going to mention, but I'm blanking on it now. So I don't know. It might come back to me, but.
All right. So here's another question.
Okay.
What is a lasting image that's stuck in your head still from the film?
It's probably, I don't know. I mean, that shot, even though it's tragic, is, you already talked about the composition of it is beautiful, but her actual death, or her in the bed, mm-hmm. at the end. But honestly, I would say also it's not just one in particular, but it's a lot of like the moments throughout where it is those really far away, mm-hmm. like just big, beautiful landscape, lots of fog, mist, and you already talked about the juxtaposition of very gray, like kind of bland, and then like, for instance, Catherine, like then just like this like crazy red pop of color in her, like, because all her dresses were like so sick, and like like that, something like that, like that's really striking. And again, a lot of that is all those different departments: costume design, art direction, set design, and obviously another one of our guys now, it seems, Linus Sandgren.
Yeah,
it's great. He's
really.
What about you? Yeah, what's the one that stood out the most?
I mean, some of the ones you mentioned, like I said, I already mentioned a couple of them, but
yes,
the other one, and I try to remember even when it happened.
Okay,
because it's like but there's where it was like half the screen is really pretty much almost black, and then there's just like some light, and it created this like interesting framing to where you see, I think it was Heathcliff.
You mean light like coming into the house?
Yeah, when he's like,
there was a moment, I do remember.
He's walking down the hall.
Okay.
And I think it's when he's coming at the end. And it's like he walks into the hall.
Yeah.
And it's like there's just enough light, you see him there, and then it's like he's slowly coming towards the camera.
Yeah.
And there's a little bit of light leaking in from the right on the front of frame, and then in the foreground, and in the background the light's coming from the left, and and it's just like just the framing, the lighting, like, and then allowing it to be that much shadow, but yet you still can see what's going on.
Yeah,
is
awesome.
Like that takes some skill and stuff, and it's
for sure.
So I'm always the same with like there was a lot of times where there was like a lot of heavy shadow around characters and different moments, especially in the stuff with like her original house and with her dad and stuff, and they always do a great job of like. Things I noticed, but like the little catch lights still in their eyes. So no matter how much shadow's in there, like you can still see their eyes. And
which, by the way, we didn't really talk about the dad at all. I mean, that's where my quote comes from, because obviously he was a terrible person, but like I loved some of the stuff he said, like that one in particular, my quote, which I believe was at pretty much the beginning of the film. But yeah, it just like some of the stuff he said was just ridiculous.
All right, so.
Oh, you know what? That was very interesting too. I don't want to say it was like an awesome visual, because if kind of also there's another one kind of felt like over the top, but it was just like the massive amount of bottles.
Oh yeah, when she comes on fire.
That felt a little ridiculous.
It did, because it's
like
unrealistic.
Silly. Yeah,
unrealistic.
And that might have been the point, but still, like that one was like, that was another one that was a little over the top. But
I do agree, because it took you out of the moment a little bit.
It
like
did.
The emotional impact of him and the dad being dead, but then I mean they could have had some bottles around, but like those kind of size piles aren't realistic. And
so that's just another example of like you're doing too much, like you're trying too hard for like this visual impact, and then it doesn't feel doesn't it's not executed well then.
All right, so here's is this worthy of your screen time?
That's a great way to word it. Are you saying like me personally, or is it like hey, should you watch this?
Both. You can answer however you want.
Okay. Because for a lot of people, this is definitely worth watching, I want to say, but for me personally,
okay, or who should?
No, you know
who
what?
Should get this their screen time?
You know what? It is still worth watching just visually. Like, and honestly, maybe the best way to watch this, or me personally to watch it, would be just watching it with no dialogue, and it would just be just the visuals and the score. Because I think those are the things I like the most. So, yeah, that would be the way to watch it. I would watch it. Yeah, I think.
Okay.
What about you?
Yeah, I mean, my version I was thinking about this is like, I think it's worth watching for the craft alone. That's I think and which is what you kind of said
for sure.
too, just saying a different way, but the visuals and the score and the costume design and the settings and the thing is, like, if you don't have dialogue, you lose a little bit of the performance, because I think the performances are great.
No, they are. Yeah,
I think so. Even it's just basically the the story is lacking. Even though even though the storytelling is a little bit meh, like overall, I think all the craft and everything else is so at high level that it's worth watching. I think at least once.
Yeah, because I imagine the original source material probably is very impactful, but again, that's taking out the modernization that she was trying to do with this film. Yeah, so I don't know. I'll have to check out the original. Obviously, I know it's a very old film as well, but and book, and so, but yeah, because the film is like
the other film.
Yeah, when was the film? It was like maybe like the 40s. I don't know. I don't remember, but yeah, I might have to check that out.
Yeah. All right. Well, that does
let
it.
us know if you, because I'm probably way off, but let us know the original film and book and all that. Like, yeah, when was all this original source material?
But yeah, that's going to do it for our discussion of Wuthering Heights. Now we want to hear from you. Did you think it captured the emotional truth of the story, or did the film's style overpower its characters? And most importantly, do you consider Kathy and Heathcliff's relationship a great love story or a beautiful photographic disaster? Leave your thoughts in the comments or email us at feedback@screentimepod.com. Next week, we're going to cover Avatar Fire and Ash.
Oh boy.
So make sure you watch it before our next episode drops. And come ready to
I'm going to be sick that day.
Leave your comments. You can follow Screen Time
coming on. Sorry,
Screen Time on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok for more reviews, clips, and conversations. And if you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or YouTube, and consider sharing it with someone who always has a movie opinion.
Yes, please do.
So until next time, thanks for giving us your screen time.